Hi, my name's Simon Leadbetter and I live and breathe marketing, as does my company Unchained.marketing. Does your company do marketing? Well, if so, this video is for you. And the reality is, every company does marketing to a lesser or greater extent. But I'm going to ask you another question. Do you understand the science of marketing? Well, let me let you into a secret. Most marketers don't understand the science of marketing. How can I say that? This is my profession. This is my tribe. These are my people. Marketers. Well, over the last 3 decades, I've managed over 400 marketers for multiple brands in many countries. I've invested £200 million to generate £2 billion worth of revenue and often about 20% growth for the brands for which I've worked. And what I've learnt over those years is while most companies have some understanding of marketing, most don't understand the science of marketing, and that's really true of marketers. Now, I've made it my mission over the last 3 decades to really understand that science and apply it in my job. But let's back up a little bit. What's my story? I started wanting to be a journalist, but a summer's job for a local newspaper working in the advertising department showed me overworked, underpaid journalists and underworked, overpaid advertising executives that the route I wanted to go was on the commercial side of media. So I did a business degree, and at university I fell in love with marketing. I loved that discipline. I also learned an enormous amount of humility. I learned how little I knew about this incredibly large field of academic study and practice. And again, I decided I really wanted to understand what was going on in this field called marketing. I then got a job in a local newspaper. And it was great. I fulfilled my dream. I worked for a local newspaper, which is where I wanted to go, but working on the commercial side. And I learned 2 things from that. One was the power of storytelling. And secondly, from a marketing perspective, was the importance and science of research. Now, newspapers in those days before the internet didn't know who actually bought the newspaper. They knew the kind of person who bought it through a newsagent. We knew their demographic profile, their geography, their political ideology, their interests. So we could create a newspaper that worked for them, but we didn't know their name and address. Went on to a national newspaper and learnt that on steroids, that important lesson of storytelling and research. Then I switched to financial services, and there I really understood the freedom of limitless resources. If you want to work with a big budget, work in financial services because money begets money. And there I had the ultimate sandpit to learn all the art and all the science of marketing. I also learnt, from the purposes of a marketing perspective, the real power of data. Whereas in newspapers we knew the kind of people, in financial services we knew the actual people who bought our product, their name and their address, and many more things beside about them. Then I went on to startups. I had my own startup, then I worked for a Dragon of Dragon's Den as their CMO, and then had other startups after that. That was fantastic. I learned the absolute freedom of running your own business, but the limitations of having no resources, the storytelling power of the media, or the financial resources of financial services. Then I got into property, and I, again, felt that same love again, the love of property. I loved the built environment. I loved residential property. I liked commercial property where I work, but I really loved residential property. But what I also found is the marketing wasn't what I was used to. It was, for want of a better term, quite primitive. And again, over a number of jobs and a number of businesses in property, I made it my plan to deploy best practice science in marketing. So, in the next few videos, I take you through the lessons I've learnt. It's sort of the science and the art of marketing and the theory of marketing, but applied practically to small businesses, specifically estate agents. My company, Unchained Marketing, operates in several fields. We offer a virtual CMO role where I can do these things strategically for companies I work for. I mentor various business leaders who want to have a sounding board to get ideas across about their marketing, but don't want a full virtual CMO, a fractional CMO. And finally, I do courses like this in training, where I try and share what I've learned about marketing with as many people as possible, because I believe we can all be much better marketers. So this series, Best Practice in Marketing, is for estate agents, But if you run an SME, if you deal with local markets, this video is relevant for you. But before I do any more about that, maybe we need to define a term that I've used a lot in this introductory video. And that word is marketing. And that's the next video.